You will be doing the calculation and print the output. So hope it is clear, and you can draw the flow chart. Whenever I am showing, if you are finding any doubt, you can ask now itself. So if you refer internet, you will be getting different versions, different symbols they may use. Each author of the textbook, they will follow different symbols, and even different softwares are available for drawing the flow charts. Each one will be having different versions also. So we will all follow the same symbols which which I am showing over here in the PPT. Okay, there are 61 participants now. So each class, the number of participants are coming down. Attendance is very strict. Don't think that ma'am will not check. That's why I'm taking screenshot also of the participants. Some of you are using 2 devices, so I know even if it is showing 61. That's why I'm taking screenshot also. You have to name your account properly. And I told Gautam Muniraj and Gautam Manjunath, both of you have to name with your second name also. Okay, so hope this is clear. 62 participants now. Now the next program is algorithm to print numbers from 1 to 20. Again, we have to get an input or initialize x as 0. Just initialization is also enough. X is equal to 0. And increment x by 1. You can either start with an input box or just a process box after the start. You can do it accordingly. Now I'm getting an input and then initializing x as 0 and increment x by 1. After that, print the value of x. After incrementing of x by 1, what will be the value printed in this statement? For the first time when you are executing, x was initialized as 0 and then we incremented by 1. Then we are printing the value of x. What will be the value? Type in the chat box. No answer. So it will 0. After incrementing, it will be 0. Only the Deepak answered. 1 it will be, right? We initialized as 0. We incremented by 1. Then if you are printing, the value of x will be 1. Now it's enough. Now if in the next line we are checking whether x is less than 20. Our current value of x is 1. We are checking whether x is less than 20. Then to which step it will go now? If it is less than 20, it has to go to step 2. So it will be checking whether it is less than 20. Now it is x equal to 1. Then it will move on to step 2. So it will again go to step 2, increment x by 1. Again print the value of x as 2. Again it will check whether x is less than 20. Oh, it is less than 20 because x is 2 now. It go back to step 2, right? So this will be our pseudocode. Now we have to convert it into an algorithm. So in algorithm, we will be mentioning it properly with the name of the algorithm. That is to print numbers of the series from 1 to 20. This algorithm will work only to print the numbers from 1 to 20. It will not be printing from 21 to 30. Got it? It will be printing only from 1 to 20. What is our input? Input we are expecting as a x value, and then we are printing 1 to 20. So we are just getting an input. In case you are not giving an input, you can mention without input also. Here, as we are directly using x with the initialized 0, you can just skip this step also. But now for the time being, I have kept start input x, initialize x equal to 0. Now we are just getting an input and then we are initializing it to 0. Input should be mentioned in a parallelogram, while initialization has to be mentioned in a rectangle. Got it? Then increment x by 1. Again in a process box we have to mention, in a rectangle we have to mention x is incremented by 1. Got it? So whenever we are doing some calculations or when we are initializing, we have to use a process box. The next step will be our printing of the output. We have to mention it in a parallelogram. Then in the next step, here in this program, we are using a decision box. Got it? If x is less than 20, go back to step 4. Here, after getting, so decision box will be having one flow line going into the decision box, and it may have, it will have two flow lines coming out of the decision box. Here the condition we are checking is x less than 20? If it is less, it has to take the left path and go back to step 4. I mentioned, so it has to go back to here. So the flow line will indicate that if it is yes, it has to go back to this. So the flow line will indicate it has to go back to this process symbol where x is incremented. After checking, it will again go and increment. If it is no, if it is not less than 20, that means and 19 also will be less than 20, right? If it is not less than 20, then it will be coming out, right? So it will be coming, going and printing the all the numbers from 1 to 20. So one mistake I just now noticed was if it will not be printing 20, right? If it is less, one more printf we have to keep. Okay, so here one more printx we have to give. Sorry for that. If it is less than 20, that means 19 also will go here, and then it will be printing. So correct only, no change. So here tell me the flow for each case when x, the first case is x equal to 0, then it will be incrementing x equal to x plus 1. Then it will be moving to the next, right? Print x. It will be printing, what it will be printing? It will be printing 1, right? Printing 1. Now it will be checking is x, our current x value is 1. X is less than 20. Our x is less than 20. Can you cancel it out? Sorry. Okay. Mute yourself. Riddhi somehow completed the fourth question also. Very good. Okay, good. That is what I said. Who is this? Imtiaz. You are listening to which class now? So listen here. So if you are just keeping it, I will not be giving you attendance. You have to listen. Imtiaz, you will answer me. What will be printed now? After first printing of x equal to 1, and then I'll be moving to the decision box, and I'll be checking whether x is less than 20. So what is the current value of x? Imtiaz plus message in the chat box. Okay, so now it is 1. So 1 is less than 20. So it will be taking the left flow line. Now it will be going to this process box. It will increment x equal to x plus 1. It will be then printing the value of x. So now it will be printing what? Second time what will be, after going back to the from the decision box, it will be printing 2, right? So now the current value of x is 2. Now into the decision box, it will be checking whether x is less than 20. So yes, it will again go and print the value 3. Again, it will check x equal to less than 20. Again, it will be printing 4, 5, 6, 7. Tell me the case when the value of x is equal to 19. Now the value of x is 19. In the decision box, it will be checking whether 19 is less than 20. Right? So now it is less than 20. So again, it will be taking the yes flow line. It will go to the process box. X will be incremented by 1. That means it will be 20. Then it will be printing 20. Understood? So no need of keeping one more print. Here it will be incrementing and then printing Now it will be checking whether X is less than 20. No, it is not. Then it will take the no flow line and it will be ending. Is it clear? So when you write the flow chart, even if no, you write the algorithm, no, you should again check because the flow line is connecting back to the process box. Are you getting? Okay, so it will be printing 20. Okay. Now we will move on to the next. So this you have to do by yourself. Write an algorithm to determine a student's final grade as the average of 4 marks and indicate whether it is passing or failing. So our algorithm is to find the grade of a student finding the average of 4 marks. So our algorithm should be named as a program to find the grade of a student, and what will be the inputs. Input will be the 4 marks, that is subjects of marks of 4 subjects. And what is our output? Output will be either printing, that is grade will be printed, right? Either fail or pass. If the average is less than 50, that means the student is not getting even 50%. Average marks is not even 50, then the student is failed. If it is greater than 50, we are making it as pass. Got it? So equal to 50, we are not checking. If you want, you can just give if it is less than or equal to 50, if he will be fail. And if it is greater than 50, so if it is less than or equal to 50 also, we are making it as fail. Okay. So how to write the algorithm now? Here, as you can see, I'm changing here also less than or equal to. So then you have to name the algorithm as the algorithm to determine the final grade of a student. So what is our input? Input should be the marks M1, M2, M3 and M4, and output will be, it will be printing the grade of the student, right? So the step 1 will be having start. Step 2 will be having the 4 subject marks which we are getting as M1, M2, M3 and M4. We cannot directly give the marks of a particular student over here. Why? Because algorithms are written so that we will be able to run the same program or execute the same algorithm for different instances. Understood? We are not getting, instead of M1, we are not writing 64, 65 or the marks gained by a particular student, right? We are using some variables to indicate that we will be using the same algorithm to calculate all the students in the class, to calculate the grade of all the students in the class. So we will be using M1, M2, M3 and M4, which are nothing but marks, right? And then we will be calculating the grade, which is they had mentioned as the average of the 4 marks. How to find the average of 4 marks? We will be adding the 4 marks and then divide by 4. So in grade, we will be assigning the average of 4 marks, right? And then we in the next step we will be checking if grade is less than or equal to 50, that student is failed, right? So we will be giving a printf else. That means using a decision box we have to decide whether the grade is less than, or we'll be checking whether the grade is less than or equal to 50. Else means it will be greater than 50. We will be printing pass, and then we'll be giving a step 5 as end. So using the flow chart, we will be mentioning start, input. In the input box we are getting the input from the user, and then we will be finding the grade in the process box. After that we will be finding so in the process box we are doing some calculation, right? We are finding the average of the 4 marks and assigning to the variable called grade. Now if the in the decision box we will be checking whether the grade is less than or equal to 50. If it is less than or equal to 50, if that means the student is failed, so you will be printing fail. Got it? If it is greater, no means it is greater than the condition what we have mentioned in the text, the decision box. If it is not satisfied, then it will be taking the right path. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, so you will be using to print output boxes to print the output onto the screen. And again, from these two, you should not get that confusion. There should be only one end terminal or stop terminal. You can either mention as stop or end. Those two flow lines which are coming from the two output boxes should be terminated in one terminal, one stop terminal or end terminal. We have studied in the rules of the flow chart. There should be only one start and there should be only one end terminal, and the flow should be from top to bottom. Even if the decision box is having yes and no flow line, it should again either it will be redirecting to any of the step above. At last, it will be coming down through the flow lines. At the end, it will be terminating in the stop terminal. Hope it is clear. So all these should be there in your notebook, and you may be thinking, ma'am will not be checking 65, no, 68 now, right? I'll be checking. Those are, and I usually follow that in the Excel. I'll be keeping track of all the students those who are showing the output. So in case if you have some problem like attending of something and all, like for me, exams are not the only thing which will be taken into consideration. I'll be always checking all these things, what you are executing. And even for when you are doing internship also, you should be alert, and you should be taking it in a positive spirit. Otherwise, when we ask something, you will be added in the group. And after that, today, Nazra ma'am was telling, Manoj, you are there in the group, and there you just answer in the chat box. You were added in Ingo company. Ingo is a software company, and they need some students. You're there in this. So they need some students for their coding purpose. Okay. So Manoj, you are there. Then you were added in the Ingo group, and suddenly today, you exited from the group. So Nazira ma'am was asking me, our HOD, ma'am was asking why Manoj exited from the group. You are there in B sheet. B sheet, if you are there, that one day you people, everyone were messaging, I am not in any of the group, anyone, and then we had confirmed. So yesterday also you had a meeting with the Ingo, but that time also you didn't communicate to ma'am that you are there in B sheet. Nazira ma'am is your faculty coordinator in that company group, means you should coordinate, we should communicate with them. You cannot come out like that. No, you just mention in the group. Okay, I'll ask ma'am. Okay, anyway, but I'm telling there are certain basic etiquette. If you don't know to attend an interview today, one company they told Logic, that company wanted to take an interview. So you should be checking the, like many things are there which even faculties may not be knowing. So we will be watching the videos, even for taking classes. Some of the things which we are not familiar, we will be always watching the IIT videos and all. No, those things we have to update ourselves. It's not like it's like everything we will be knowing, right? We will also be, yesterday also we were attending, I was attending one NPTEL. Even students also can have attend that government, Swayam one site is there you can register and you can attend those online courses, and it is carrying marks also for us. For NAC, we should be attending that. So always, if you don't know, refer internet and all, like how to attend an interview, all those things you have to do. Okay, so before coming out of any company, always be alert, and when you are added in a company, always ask with that faculty. Otherwise that company people, they will not be they will feel bad. They are not in their work culture. You should learn, that is the most important thing which you have to learn in an internship. Okay, so when we are asked to attend a meeting at correct 1 o'clock, you should be attending or joining the link 5 minutes before for the companies. So keep it ready. Then only, like they should not be waiting for you. You should be waiting for them. Okay. Okay. So this will be your the flow chart. And now, so Kiran, I have seen you for everything. Now he will put one smiling emoji in the group. No, you should be like, if they are telling something funny, you can always put a smiley. But we see that you are attending the interview today. That company had told there will be an interview at 2 o'clock, means be alert and see, be ready before that itself. Okay. So now the next algorithm, determine and output whether a number is even or odd. So what are even numbers? What are odd numbers? That's not max class, but you should be knowing that even numbers are those numbers which are, answer in the chat box. Let me see who all are listening. What are even numbers? What are even numbers? Answer in the chat box. 2, 4, 6, 8 are one. Commonly, what definition will you give? Which is number which are divisible by 2, right? Numbers which are divisible by 2 are called even numbers. Numbers which are not divisible by 2, you cannot always check whether it is 2, whether it is 4, like that. No, there are many even numbers. So, any number which is divisible by 2 will be considered as an even number, right? So, now suppose you are given a number which is 24, or you take another number 36. How to understand whether 36 is an even number? So we are going to write a program. You can't check with it whether it is 2, 4, 6, 8 and all have message like that. No. So the easiest method will be to find whether it is completely divisible by 2. So when you are finding the divisibility by a number, the method which you will follow is, well, will divide by 2 and see how many times it will be dividing. So when you are getting a remainder as 0, you know it is completely divisible. So here in 36, 2 how many times? So in 3 it will go 1 time, and then we'll bring down the 6. So in 16, 2 will be going 8 times. 2 8s are 16, so we'll be writing 16, and you know the remainder will be 0. So what we mentioned on top, after division, what we are getting, so we will be writing like 36 divided by, this is division symbol, right? Divided by 2 will be giving you, what will be the answer? What you will write over here? We will be writing as 18. So when we divide, we'll be writing the quotient. So whatever we mention or when we divide, no, what we answer we'll be getting is 18 is the quotient. Quotient means after division, whatever answer you are getting, we'll be writing it as quotient, right? Now, if you write the same thing with a different symbol, that is 36, if you are finding a mode value with the same number 2, we'll be getting the remainder. What is the remainder of? So I change the symbol now. Here it is division operator. Here I am using a mode operator. If I am using a division operator, I should be writing the answer as 18. If I am using a mode operator, I should be writing the answer as my remainder. In this remainder, what is the remainder? Remainder is 0, right? Here when I am dividing 36 by 2, the remainder is 0. Understood? So depending upon the operator used, the same number will be giving you different answer. If I am dividing 36 by 2, I will be getting the quotient. If I am finding the mode of 36 by 2, I will be getting the remainder. Remainder where we will be getting at the end, right? After complete division, if it is completely divisible, I'll be getting remainder as 0. So all the even numbers, for all the even numbers, the remainder will be 0. So we can use this as a method for checking whether the remainder is 0. So we'll give the attendance now. Okay, so I'll send you the, so I'll be sending the link for the attendance of the third hour. So this will be the link for the attendance of third hour. And I'm taking the screenshot also. So from Monday onwards, brother also will be checking the classes. So be alert. Brother or brother Simon or maybe Samira ma'am also will be joining to check how the classes are going on. Okay. So now you can see that all the even numbers will be giving you a remainder 0. So this you can use as a method for checking whether a given number is even or odd. So the first step, you can get accept the number from the user, calculate the remainder, and then if r is equal to 0, so we will be calculating the remainder. Calculating the remainder. At the end, I'll be giving you one question to be solved. So don't think that after attendance I'll not be checking. So that question you have to solve. So the here the remainder will be, if it is equal to 0, then you will be printing it as even, and else you will be printing it as odd. So now we are converting into an algorithm. Algorithm name you are finding, giving it as to find odd or even. Input, we are getting an input from the user. We are accepting in the variable called n. Output will be either printing odd or even. So the first step will be start and then input numbers, then calculate the remainder. So okay, remainder, how to calculate? I told you just now, if you want to calculate the remainder, you have to use the mode operator, right? So we'll be using the mode operator, that is percentage. This is known as the mode operator. You will be having such many programs, so you should be knowing the mode operation. It will be giving you the remainder. If you are using a division operator, you'll be getting the quotient. Hope it is clear. So mode operator will be giving you the remainder. If the remainder, so whatever number we are getting, suppose I am accepting here 39. 39 mode 2 will not give a remainder 0. That means 39 is odd, right? So we will be checking R if it is equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, in our case 39 will not give you the remainder as 0. So it will be going to the else part. Okay. So it will be printing odd. So this will be the algorithm step. So start, then we will have to get an input from the user, which you have to mention in an input box. Then you are doing some calculation and assigning the value to R. So you can use n mode 2 equal to R in a process box. Then after that, we are checking using a decision box. Is R equal to 0? It's not a program, that's why I'm not using double equal to. It's just checking whether it is equal to 0. If it is yes, you can print as even. If R is not equal to 0, that means the number is odd. And after that, you are showing the two flow lines connected to the one end terminal, which is stop. So you can write down this question and draw and send the flow chart. You can either take a screenshot or you using the mobile phone. No, you have to draw and send me the flow chart. So I'll be considering the attendance of third hour along with this. Okay. I could see only 59 now. So you just send it after drawing with your pen and your book. You can just take a photo and send me. I know all are having WhatsApp. So send me in WhatsApp to my personal window. Getting exited. So there's an, are you sitting in a place where enough internet connection is there, or exited means sometimes maybe because of the antivirus problem. Now that antivirus you just disable for some time. You know, Windows is giving you a default antivirus. So don't go for installation of Mac and AVG antivirus and all. You know, like in if you don't know to disable enable, you know, Windows security is enough for you. It is there in go to control panel and just enable it. Don't buy or don't use any of the free antivirus software like Mac or AVG in your in your laptop or in your system where you have installed Windows. You will be able to enable the Windows Defender inside Home Security. Windows Security, you can just enable it. So that will take care of your, so this will come up now, Windows Security. Windows Defender, you type it in the search box or you can directly go to the control panel and enable it. Don't use any of those AVG and McAfee and all that and all, you just avoid using. So in case you are having that, it may be blocking, no? That may be the reason. So sometimes it will be from morning it was so proper. Okay. So maybe connection, sometimes it may be going, no? That may be the problem. From my side, I think it is fine because all are able to see. Okay. When all are using, and sometimes Wi-Fi also used to have such problem, you know, like many are using, then it will be slow. Some peak time, no, it will be connection problem may be there. Okay. So you are supposed to draw the flow chart and write the algorithm and send it to me. Now, these are the questions which are usually there from this section in the university paper. What are the different symbols used in the flowchart? Explain taking an example. Explain taking an example, you know. So you have to draw the flowchart, explain the, you have to explain the different symbols used in the flowchart and then take one example which may have all the symbols, even the decision box. Connectors, it's okay if you are not connecting also. Basic symbols, it should be there. Now, what is a flow chart? Flow chart is a pictorial representation, right? Or you can use it as a graphical representation and explain all flow chart symbols. I just kept all the questions which are there in the university question paper. I'll be giving you the university question paper questions for writing assignment, and it will be before the first unit test. Okay. And I have kept all the previous